What's up, guys? This is Fan Fiction Friday. This is where we read the crappiest of fan fictions, and we either make fun of them for being disturbing or just poorly written. What do we have today, Nick?
Today we are reading Legolas by Laura.
Legolas by Laura.
Yes, as in the character from Lord of the Rings, a series I have never read or watched.
So this is going to be interesting.
Yeah. Alright. Legolas was riding along the woods, and one day he found a baby wrapped in cloth. I'm reading this literally, by the way. So he got off his horse and went to the baby, and then Legolas said, open quote, "Who left you here, little one?" End quote. And then the baby just cried, and then Legolas pick her up and hold her, and then the baby stopped crying, and then Legolas said, "Your name is going to be Laura." And then Legolas and the baby went onto the horse and went back to the castle where he lived.
Wait, so that was all one sentence?
Yes, that was all one sentence.
That's terrible. Was she drunk?
She was on the internet, that's all you need to know. There was also no capitalization where its sentence began.
Wait, seriously?
And no punctuation when the quotes ended. Okay.
That's messed up.
Legolas said, open quote, "Father, mother, I found this little baby in the woods." And then Legolas' mother got up and walked down and said, open quote, "How can people put baby in the wood sand to die?"
No wood
End
sand.
quote, period.
What?
Woods and. Is what it's supposed to be.
Wood sand.
Then Legolas' father said, open quote, "We are going to keep her," end quote. And then Legolas was happy for some rising.
For some what?
I will spell it out. Somerising. I think it's supposed to be some reason, but it's so far away. So Legolas is happy for some rising. 10 years later, Legolas got up and went into Laura's room and said,
Wait,
open quote,
so the
"Good
baby's
morning."
10?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay, so the
Unless
baby's
it's
10
like
at this
1,
point.
so it could be 11 at most.
Oh yeah, okay. So just to catch up, make sure I'm following this.
Yeah, let's keep that.
It's an 11-year-old baby, or person. It's an 11-year-old person, and Legolas is raising it?
I guess, yeah.
Okay.
And this list is probably 200 or something. Okay. Legolas got up and went into Laura's room and said, open quote, "Good morning," end quote. And then Laura said, open quote, "Good morning too." Then Legolas said, open quote, "What's a matter?" end quote. And then Laura said, open quote, "Legolas, I want to know how to ride a horse," end quote. Then Legolas said, open quote, "Okay," end quote. And then Legolas said, "First you get dresses and have something to eat, and then we will go for a horse ride lesson." Period. I'm not doing open quote anymore unless it deems necessary. Meanwhile, which is 2 separate words, by the way, Strider and Gandalf was riding. Same as in some rising, pretty much, towards where Legolas lived, and then Strider said, "Gandalf, I did not know Legolas had a sister," and then Gandalf said, "I did not know a swell." One word. Meanwhile, 2 different words again, at Mondor.
How do you mess up the most important place?
It's right behind Mordor.
Meanwhile, in Mondor,
the Dark Lord was planning to kidnap the princess, but not Legolas. Then the boss of the orcs came and said, "I'll get her for you, sir." And then the Dark Lord said, "Yes, you can."
Wait, so when the Dark Lord was planning to capture Laura or whatever her name is, but not Legolas, was that really necessary?
I don't know. When did they even establish she was a princess or whatever?
Did they call her a princess?
Yeah, it said princess. Here,
This makes no sense.
Yeah, it says, let's see. I will double check this because we can't. Laura we cannot besmirch her name. Meanwhile, at Mondor, the Dark Lord was planning to kidnap the princess, but not Legolas. There you go. So, we're assuming it's Laura. Okay. Meanwhile, still two separate words. Legolas and Laura was horse riding, one word, and then Laura said Legolas who's, W-H-O-S, that, and then Legolas looked and it was Gandalf and Strider. Legolas said, that is Gandalf and Stridier. The I came after the D.
Why?
And then Strider said Legolas, and then Legolas said Strider, long time seen. And then Strider said, how's you? And then Legolas said, I'm fine. And then Gandalf said, who's this then? And then Legolas said, meet Laura. I found her in the woods when she was just a baby. End of sentence.
Oh my gosh. It's just like... And then Legolas said this, and then Gandalf said this, and then Legolas said this. It's like, what?
She doesn't know what a comma is. As a matter of fact, there actually are no commas, as far as I've read.
Okay, yeah, let's have a comma count.
Laura was shy at first, and then Legolas said, Laura, come and meet Strider and Gandalf, and then Laura said, hello, I am Laura.
What?
That's all it takes to overcome shyness. Legolas said, she is the princess, and then Strider said, she is so cute, and then Legolas said, that will be my flute. As in fault. And then Gandalf said, why? And then Laura said, he protects me, that's why. And then Legolas looked up and said, I think we should go back to the castle. And then Laura said, I can feel it too.
What? Wait, what? I can feel it too? What is she feeling?
I don't know. Threat?
I don't know what's going on.
Legolas said, do you want to stay for a night? And then Gandalf said, and Strider said, yes please. And then they had tea and then went to bed. This is a new paragraph, by the way. During the night, Legolas asked the guards without you, to keep an eye on Laura's room. Meanwhile, still two separate words, the orcs climbed without a B, up the window and grabbed Laura, and then Laura woke up and screamed, and then the Gaird went into her room and saw lots of orcs, and then Legolas ran down the hall. Then Legolas said, where is Laura? And then the Gaird said the orcs took her. End of paragraph.
What in the world?
Meanwhile, still two separate words, the orcs was back at Mondor, and then Laura said, put me down, and then the orcs did, and then the Dark Lord came out of the fire and said, welcome Laura, and then Laura looked at him and said, no it can't be, and then she tried, with a Y, to run away, but the orcs got her. All one sentence. Then the Dark Lord said, put her into the cell and bet her, and also do whatever you want with
and
her,
bet
but
her?
do not kill her. I think it's supposed to be beat.
Oh.
Also, whatever is two separate words. Then the orcs took her to the cell and threw her into the cell, and then they shut the door. Laura go up and went to the window and looked out, and she was wishing that Legolas or someone will save her. Meanwhile, still two separate words, back at the castle of Milkwood.
Milkwood? Wait, is this like a misspelling, or is this like a thing?
No, I don't know. That may be a thing.
That may be like a lack of our education in the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Please leave in the comments if there's ever a castle of Milkwood.
If it is J.R.R. Tolkien's, yeah.
Stoner. Milkwood.
Meanwhile, at the castle of Milkwood, Legolas was getting the army ready to go and save Laura. Apparently he has an army now. Meanwhile, still two separate words, Laura was sitting on the floor, and then the door opened, and it was some orcs, and the orcs tied Laura with some chains, and then one of the orcs striped her, and then he raped her, and then Laura said, go away, you bastard. So many meanwhiles. This is all in one paragraph, mind you. Then another orc came with a whip and wiped her hard,
What? Oh God!
It's whipped without one of the P's.
You wiped her hard, man.
And then the orcs all together, bet her almost to death. And then the Dark Lord came in with a tube of poison, Posion. It's supposed to be poison.
I know. That's awful.
It's closer to poison. And then he injected into Laura. Not even her. Injected into Laura.
What?
Few hours later, new paragraphs by the way, Legolas and the others was on the way to Mondor to save Princess Laura. Meanwhile, in the cell where Laura was being kept, Laura woke up and she looked on her body. There was blood and scars. She only could move her right arm, but not her left. Then Laura said, "I feel so cold," and then she can't see very well. At the front of the gates of Mondor was Legolas and the others, and then they said, "Let Laura go," and then the Dark Lord said no. No! And then Legolas said, "Right, listen." Lisson. Is that supposed to be listen?
I assume.
Will climb up to the cell and get Laura, and you and the others will find another way in.
Wait,
okay, when Legolas started talking, there was an open quote, but so far there's no end quote.
Okay, so this is all stuff he's saying.
It's all supposedly stuff that Legolas is saying.
So, let me get this straight. He walks up to the Dark Lord and says, "Let her go." He says no. So it's like, okay, new plan.
And then he tells his friends the plan, and supposedly in front of the Dark Lord.
Okay, so the Dark Lord, he said no, let's just do this. It's like, what?
Okay.
It's worth a shot.
Okay, and so this is still Legolas talking. Then Strider said, "All right," and then Legolas started to climb up. Meanwhile, Strider and the others ran into Mondor and went into the castle. Still supposedly Legolas talking.
Now everybody's like, "Oh my God, did he just like go insane? Is he having a stroke?"
I think she just forgot to put in quote. Gandalf said, "I will go and kill the Dark Lord, and you and the others go and help Legolas." Strider said, "Be careful," one word. And then Gandalf said, "I will, don't you worry about me." Can't Gandalf not die or something? I don't know. Meanwhile, still two separate words, Legolas got to the cell where Laura is. Legolas said, "Laura, are you in there?" And then Laura said, "Oh, Legolas, you finally came." And then Legolas said, "Are you alright?" And then Laura said, "No, I am not alright." And then Legolas said, "They bet you up and raped you. Also, the Dark Lord gave you poison." And then Laura said, "How did you know that?" End of sentence. Then Legolas said, "When I was your age, they did the same thing."
Oh my God!
Same thing as one word, by the way.
So they bet up.
They bet up Legolas.
They raped him,
and then gave him poison.
That's terrible. Like, what?
Then Laura said, "Can you get me out of here?" And then Legolas said, "Okay, stand back." And then he ran back and ran towards the door and knocked it down. Laura said, "Wow," and then Legolas looked and saw she was coved in blood and scars, also she was naked, and then Legolas said, "Why they did it to you, not me," and then the orcs came and said, "Because she got a power and she can destroy us all the bad guys."
They can destroy us all the bad guys.
She can destroy us all the bad guys. So now Laura is also a Mary Sue. Then the fright began.
The fright began.
The fright began. Legolas got out his bow and arrows and started firing at them. And started is one word. And firing apparently has an extra I after the E. Then Legolas saw some swords and said, "Strider, is that you?" And then Strider said, "Yes, it is." And then Legolas and the others started to kill the orcs. Meanwhile, Gandalf is have a fun time trying to destroy the Dark Lord. Gandalf said, I wish Frodo and Merry and Pippin and Sam was here, and then a sword came out of nowhere and said, some wished us here, and then Gandalf turned and said, Frodo Baggins, why are you doing here?
What?
Why are you doing here, Frodo Baggins?
Okay, I may be confused, but at one point did she say that a sword came out and said something?
Let's see. Then Legolas saw some swords and said, Strider, is that you? And then Strider said, yes, it is.
I'm confused then. I don't know. It makes no sense.
Do not question Laura. Then Frodo said, we came to help you and also we got rid of the ring.
Wait, is this taking place directly at the end of the Third Lord of the Rings?
And then the Dark Lord said, oh no, and then the magical powers from Gandalf destroyed the Dark Lord. Meanwhile, Legolas and... Oh yeah, still 2 words, by the way. Meanwhile, Legolas and Strider and the others was helping Laura down, and Strider took off his cape and put it around Laura. Few hours later... We're almost at the end. Legolas and the others are on the way back to the castle. Legolas said, we must go to Rivendell to get Laura better. Then Gandalf said, I think you are right, and then they turned around and went to Rivendell. Legolas looked down on Laura and put his hand onto Laura's head, and she was bruning up.
Bruning up?
Supposed to be burning. Strider went aside of Legolas' horse and looked and said, she is getting worse. And then Legolas said, I know. She is getting
awful.
Worse. A few hours later... They were at Rivendell, and Legolas stayed at Laura's side every day until INTILL. She wakes up, and then Legolas kissed Laura on her lips, and then she moved her arms around Legolas, and then Legolas said, "All you all right?" And then Laura said, "Yes, I am." She's 11. Legolas said, "I am so happy." And then Laura said, "Do you want to be my boyfriend?" And then Legolas said, "Yes, I will be your boyfriend."
What?
Laura and Legolas kissed again.
No, time out. She's 11. She's 11, and he's been her dad all these years.
He's probably also 200 or something.
So in this fanfiction, Legolas becomes a pedophile?
Apparently.
Oh my gosh. Legolas,
It's only
why?
the tip of the iceberg.
No.
Laura said, "What happened to me, Legolas?" And then Legolas said, "You got kidnapped by the orcs, and they raped you, and you also bet you almost to death." And then the Dark Lord
How'd you forget that?
And then Laura said, "Why I can only move on arm." And then Legolas said, "Your left arm is broken." Then the door opened, and it was Strider, and then Laura said, "Hello, Strider," and then Strider said, "I see you are awake," and then Laura... That's the end. That is the end! That is the end!
What? Let me see that.
Okay, look! Then the door opened, and it was Strider, and then Laura said, "Hello, Strider," and then Strider said, "I see you are awake," and then Laura... Yes, the story really ends like this. Don't blame me, please.
Oh no. That's terrible. That is the best cliffhanger in the world. I am dying to know what happened.
What did Laura do? Okay, so...
oh god.
Apparently this was reposted by somebody on fanfiction.net because Laura, I don't know why she took down such a piece of artwork.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Apparently this even has its own TV tropes page. A live action movie trailer. And many dramatic readings.
That is awesome.
So that was Legolas by Laura.
We hope you enjoyed.
I'm gonna burn my computer.